Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fumble Sports Show on this Wednesday, halfway through our work week and getting ever closer to the start of NFL Week 12. For so many of you, the fantasy football playoffs are a little bit more than a month away, so we've got to get you guys some wins. We've got to get you ready because NFL Week 12 is another pivotal week to get you ever closer to a berth into your fantasy football playoffs and ever closer to a fantasy football championship. We are here to help you guys out with all of your fantasy football needs for this NFL Week 12. So if you have questions, throw them in the comment section. If there are trades that you need help with, throw them in the comment section. And of course, if you just want to talk some sports with us, we have some picks for the NBA today. We'll go through a few of those throughout the course of the show. Appreciate you guys being with us. By the way, our picks yesterday did incredibly well. I hope you guys tailed yesterday. The picks we gave out did very well. Hope you guys followed on that. Other than that, we're going to talk some NFL. We'll talk some MLB, actually, because there's some moves around there and a few awards that have gone out. I'll give my reaction to that throughout the show. So, anyways, that's kind of our agenda for things. Throw your questions and comments in the chat. Emilio Garcia, JT, Hill, or Harrison for this week. Tyreek Hill has a really tough matchup against Christian Gonzalez. That said, I do think the Patriots' pass defense is vulnerable, but I'm a little worried about that. Don't like JT. The matchup for the Indianapolis Colts against the Vikings' run defense is not a favorable one. And then as for Arizona Cardinals, I'm assuming that's Marvin Harrison Jr. against the Seattle Seahawks. Kind of an interesting matchup. The Seattle Seahawks' pass defense so far this season has been kind of a mid to decent team. They're kind of in that top half of the league, but they're not strong enough to really get me excited. Emilio, I think Harrison's probably the best play of the group. It's either Hill or Harrison. I'm just worried about the matchup with Christian Gonzalez because he is a phenomenal cornerback and has had success against Tyreek Hill at previous times throughout his previous matchups against the Patriots. Mr. Lopez. Oh, thanks, Funky Town. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks so much. Mr. Lopez, Jared Goff or Patrick Mahomes? It's a great question. I really like Goff, but I'm going to lean Mahomes on this one. The Carolina Panthers pass defense is just as bad as they're just awful. I'm going to lean towards Patrick Mahomes in a bounce back game. Very close. I know the Colts are technically worse as a pass defense, but I actually think because of how well the run offense of the Lions could do, it could take away a little bit of value in the passing game. I'm going to lean Mahomes just barely. Close, but I lean Mahomes. Anthony, Kyren thoughts, trade him, keep him, Bucks or Commanders? I would keep Kyren. I know his value has come down, or his production's come down since Puka and Cooper Kupp both rejoined the lineup, but I would continue to hold on to Kyren. I think he's had bad weeks. I think he'll resurrect it a little bit. The matchup that he has this week against the Philadelphia Eagles, though, does concern me once again. Eagles have been a very good run defense so far this year. As a run defense, they're top 7. So I would be worried about Kyren this week. If that's enough of a deterrent or enough of a motivation to trade him, Anthony. But personally, I'd hold on to him. And then between the Bucks and the Commanders defense, the Commanders defense is going up against the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going Commanders defense. I understand that Tampa Bay is going up against the New York Giants, but I think the Giants at this point actually may have more weapons or might be a better, more well-run offense than the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to take the Commanders defense, Anthony. I'm going to go Commanders defense on that question. Preston, Tyreek Hill for Tracy and Kate Otten. I'd rather own Tyreek Hill. I understand why you're doing it, but it's really to satisfy the need at various positions. But Tyreek Hill's the better own. Squalls 368. Zay Flowers or Lad McConkey? I think it's Lad McConkey. I would actually say Lad McConkey is a slightly better play. Pickle Rourke. Tracy Jr. or Swift? I'd go Tracy Jr. this week, Pickle Rourke. Tracy Jr. Aiden Thompson, Bo Nix, or Russ Wilson? Josh is on a bye. Denver going up against the Raiders. Russell Wilson going up against the Browns. I think this one's pretty darn close, actually. Both defenses have actually performed to a very similar level. I actually think Russell Wilson is going to be a slightly better play. I'll lean Russell Wilson as the start, just barely over Bo Nix. It's close because the rushing yards that Bo Nix has gotten over the last few weeks. Mason, pick 2. Chuba Hubbard, Tracy, Jacobs. I would sit Chuba Hubbard. I don't like Chuba Hubbard this week. I think the Kansas City Chiefs, very good run defense, but beyond that, I also think the Chiefs are aware enough if they stop the run and force Bryce Young to beat them through the air, they're going to win the game. Wingman, Daniels, Murray, or Richardson. I'm going to lean just slightly towards... I'm going to lean slightly, I think, towards Kyler Murray. It's close between Daniels and Kyler Murray, but Daniels hasn't been playing as well as he was in the first, maybe third of the season. I think he has a bounce-back game against the Cowboys, but I think I like Kyler Murray just a little bit more. Arizona going up against Seattle. Now, it's in Seattle. Maybe that's a little reason for concern, but I think for the most part, I'm going to lean just slightly towards Murray. Richardson has some value. I actually think Richardson could be a good play through the air, but I think Murray would be 1, Daniels would be 2, and Richardson would be 3. Interesting question, though, Wingman. Appreciate the question. Hope you're having a great day. Respawn. By the way, Blake, thanks so much for the flowers. Respawn, start 2, and Njoku, Jones, Ridley, or Devontae Smith. I think Aaron Jones is absolutely worth an interest. I would say Aaron Jones is absolutely one of them. Aaron Jones is absolutely one of them. Then I'm going to lean slightly towards Devontae Smith. I'm going to go Jones and Smith. And Njoku's an interesting idea, but I just don't like it compared to Smith. I think I prefer Smith just barely. Rigo, Hurts, Puka, and Bijan for Kyler, Justin Jefferson, and Derrick Henry. Great question. I think I'd rather have the Kyler, Jefferson, and Hunter Henry side. So I'll say yes to it. CCast 18, Allen on a bye, pick up Tua, Darnold, May, or Smith. I'd pick up Tua. I would take Tua against the Patriots. A. Stanley 1580, Wan'Dale Robinson or Elijah Moore. I'd go Wan'Dale Robinson. Cody Meyerson, trade Worthy and Swift for Kareem Hunt. No, don't do that deal. Kareem Hunt's value is going to come way down. El Pinche has a baseball question for us. In your opinion, how dangerous would the Dodgers be if they traded for Garrett Crochet? No more dangerous than they are now. And the reason I say that is they're currently the defending world champion. So if we're talking about how much more dangerous, well, they could keep their status as world champion, but they're not any more or less dangerous because they were the most dangerous team in Major League Baseball, and it was demonstrated by how they went through the playoffs. I don't think Garrett Crochet is going to go to the Dodgers. I think Crochet ends up with the Boston Red Sox. They have the assets to go acquire him. Would make a lot of sense, too, for the White Sox and the Red Sox who have made deals in the past to make a deal of this kind. Red Sox need the pitching. Red Sox, frankly, need the pitching more than the Dodgers do. So I don't think that's the move. I do think the Dodgers get the Japanese 23-year-old or 25-year-old, whatever he is, who's going to be coming over. I think he's going to go to the Dodgers. But I think Garrett Crochet ends up with the Red Sox. And right now it seems like Juan Soto is going to end up with the Mets, though I keep thinking he's going to ultimately land with the Yankees because I feel like it's going to be hard for him to leave the Bronx. Anyways, back to some fantasy football questions. Unless there are other topics you guys bring up. Other topics, I'm willing to talk sports with you guys in any way. Cook, shout out to you. Antonio, pick 2. Stevenson, Harrison, Kupp, and Puka. I would go Stevenson and Marvin Harrison Jr. Antonio, Stevenson, and Marvin Harrison Jr. Gio, would you start Devontae Smith or Jamison Williams at the flex? I would start Jamison Williams. I'd start Jamison Williams. And then between Jonnu Smith and Cade Otton, which one would I go with? That to me is a tougher question. I'd lean Cade Otton. I think Jonnu Smith's value looks really strong after last week, but I still think Cade Otton's the better play. Alan, thanks so much for supporting the show. Joe Bro, should I drop Vikings tight end Hawkinson and replace him with Taysom Hill? Look, Taysom Hill is on a bye this week, so the answer is no, not this week. But if it's for future weeks, I get it. Because right now the Saints are telling you, we just don't have the offensive weapons. So we're going to use every trick in the bag in Taysom Hill. He is maybe trick number 2 after Alvin Kamara. So I do like picking up and using Taysom Hill rest of season. Because I think we're getting a glimpse as to what the New Orleans Saints are going to be rest of year. They're going to give you the kitchen sink. I'll take Taysom Hill in a lot of weeks. Wingman, pick 2, Pittman, Watson, or Dowdle. I'd go Pittman and Watson. Pittman and Watson. I just don't trust the Cowboys offense. Cody Meyerson, start Cade Otton or Worthy. I'd start Cade Otton. I think he just gets more targets, more opportunities. Dan, Tyrone Tracy, or Ramondre Stevenson. I'd go Ramondre Stevenson. Ramondre Stevenson. Stone Cold. Kelsey and Mixon for CMC. London and James Conner. I think I'd rather have the CMC, London, and Conner side. There's just so much value there. It's a 3 for 2. I'm getting CMC. I'm getting 2 running backs. So I'm okay with the 3 for 2 with me getting the 3 back. It's going to end up being closer than it should be. By the way, Mr. Lopez, thank you so much. Got it a few days ago. Alex, start 2. Flowers, Tillman, Downs, or Quentin Johnston. I'd go Quentin Johnston. I think I'd go Downs and Quentin Johnston. It's hard for me to sit Flowers. But Alex, the best matchups are around Quentin Johnston against the Ravens. Great matchup. And Downs against that Detroit pass defense that can be vulnerable. So I'll go Johnston and Downs in a surprising one. Anthony, Puka or Lamb rest of season? You know the answer to that. It's Puka. Alex, Jaden Reed for Jennings. Interesting trade. I say no. I'd still rather own Jaden Reed. Cody Meyerson. Oh, Cook, thanks so much for the marvelous confetti. Cody Meyerson, thoughts on Garrett Wilson rest of season? I still think he has value because I still think they're going to throw him the football. But things are a nightmare right now for the New York Jets. I'm hearing about internal fighting. Obviously, Woody Johnson is clearing house. But not just that. Woody Johnson, his comments, the comments that have come out that he made, that he was ready to move on from Aaron Rodgers or at least bench him earlier in the year because he wasn't playing that well. There's just a question of how much buy-in there is with the Jets. My one hope is football players are different from other sports. They understand that their time in the league is very short, and every play they get the chance to put something on film that could keep their career going, get them another job. So I still think the Jets and every player on the roster is going to fight, is going to play, is going to be committed. But am I a little bit concerned about the Jets overall imploding and Garrett Wilson being a victim of that? Yeah, a little bit. But I think Aaron Rodgers still has something to prove. Funny enough, I think Aaron Rodgers probably has more to prove in the remainder of the year than almost every other quarterback that's out of playoff contention. Because Aaron Rodgers is playing for his career. He's playing for the chance to be someone's quarterback next year, and I'm not sure he's going to get that chance. So I think Garrett Wilson still has value, but I understand that there's a lot of risk to it. Globo Jose, do I drop Stroud for Justin Herbert? I have Darnold, who I plan on starting. I would start Justin Herbert this week. Have you seen the Ravens pass defense? I know. They played better defense against the Steelers. That's a rivalry game. This Ravens pass defense is awful. They are the worst in the NFL. I want Justin Herbert this week. That's who I'm starting. So I would drop Darnold. I'd drop Darnold. I would keep Stroud. I'd keep Herbert. I think Sam Darnold's regressed. I think there were moments early in the year he played well. He's not the same quarterback now, so I'd kind of move on from him. Raggedy Pancakes, JT, Tracy, or Bucky. I think it's Bucky Irving on this one. Bucky Irving's the one I like the most. It's AJ, Patrick Mahomes, or Baker Mayfield. Patrick Mahomes by a wide margin. New York Football Giants pass defense is better than you think. Baker's not as good a play as you want him to be, even if Mike Evans plays. Micaiah, Sanders, or Tucker Kraft. I'd go Tucker Kraft. Micaiah, Tucker Kraft. Bear Wiggy, Brock Purdy, Herbert, Baker. It's Herbert, Bear Wiggy. Mr. Lopez, pick 3. Connor, Kyron, CD, or Cup. I'd probably sit CeeDee Lamb. Just because I don't trust him at all. I don't trust the offense at all. I understand he's got a better matchup maybe than Kyron Williams, but even there, I think I'd rather run the risk with Kyron than go with CeeDee Lamb. Kyron's due for a touchdown all of a sudden. Wingman, I'd go D-Hop over Jennings. Ricky Arias, great to see you. Ricky, I'd go DK and Juwan Jennings. Poncho, Pacheco or Chuba Hubbard? Pacheco. Look forward to him being back. Jake Wick, I'd go McConkey. I'm going to go McConkey just barely over Jamison Williams. Really like them both. Could end up having similar value, but I'll go McConkey. RVUK, Alec Pierce or Xavier Legette. It's Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce is the better play. Cook, Goff, or Mahomes. I think that's a close one. I'm leaning Mahomes just barely, but I do think it's close between Goff and Mahomes, though I do lean Mahomes. And between the Texans and the Steelers defense, Texans and Steelers defense, I'm going to lean just slightly towards the Texans defense. It's very close for me, but actually, I think the Texans defense is better equipped to stop the Titans. I think the Steelers may be coming off a physical game, short week against the Ravens. Is there a chance that Jameson Williams could put some yards and put some points on him? It's possible. Cook, I'm going to lean slightly towards the Texans. I just trust Will Levis to make some mistakes. El Pinche, Aaron Rodgers might be a backup QB for the Niners next season. He can kind of mentor Purdy. First of all, at this point, does Purdy need a mentor? He's playing so well. I feel he's been doing more Super Bowls in the last decade than Aaron Rodgers has. So I'm very high on Brock Purdy not needing that. But it's an interesting idea just because he's from the Bay Area. I would assume there's going to be at least one team out there, at least one team that will be willing to give him a chance. So I certainly don't think he's done, but kind of interesting to see how fast that star has fallen. Antonio, Mark Andrews, or Tucker Kraft. I'm going to lean just slightly, I think, towards Tucker Kraft, actually. Very close, but I lean towards Tucker Kraft, at least for the moment. Max Morris, out of McLaurin, Jacobs, Hill, and Pickens. Who wouldn't you start? Who wouldn't you start? Okay. The tricky part of this one is Tyreek Hill's matchup against Christian Gonzalez has me very worried. I'd still probably play Tyreek Hill. I'm playing Pickens. Max Morris, I think I'm sitting Josh Jacobs, but it's close between Hill and Jacobs. The concern I have is Christian Gonzalez covering Tyreek Hill. Enough of that game on Sunday that kind of negates his value. I'm going to lean towards sitting Jacobs just barely, I think. Very, very close. The the 49ers run defense so far this year is top 10, top 8. That's what lends me to believe that Jacobs is the better sit, but it's by a small margin, Max. Pam OK, Smitty, Williamson, or D-Hop. Pick one. I would go D-Hop. I'd go D-Hop. D-Hop would be the play. Mantis, start two. Mantis, I would go... I'm leaning towards Neighbors and JSN. Mantis, I'm going Neighbors and JSN. CS999, White and Stevenson, start one. I think both are phenomenal plays. I really wish you could start both. I mean, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers run defense has struggled at... the New York Giants run defense is bottom 4 in the league. Dolphins have struggled, especially of late. I'm going to say Rachaad White, though. CS999, I'll go Rachaad White on that one. Appreciate you guys being with us. Blake, Pickens, or Sutton? I would go Pickens. I'd go Pickens. If Pickens, Sutton, or Najee, I'd go Sutton on that one. I'm going Pickens, and I'd go Sutton. Tamulima, Bucky, or Tracy Jr., I'd go Bucky. I'd go Bucky. Thanks so much. Yeah, apparently the haircut's making a lot of waves there. Christian, Legion Blitz, between McLaurin, DK, Nico, and Elijah Moore, pick 3. I'd probably sit Elijah Moore. I would sit Elijah Moore. Tamulima, it's Bucky on that one, bud. Donnie Kane, keep Purdy this week or pick up Nix, Goff, or Herbert. I think Herbert is probably the best play of the week. I would expect, you guys know, I thought Goff was going to be the best quarterback of last week. Goff isn't going to be in the running for it this week, but I think Justin Herbert could be the best fantasy QB of the week. I think Goff will probably be in the top 3. So, Goff or Herbert, I'd probably prefer them over Purdy, Donnie. Appreciate the question. Hope you're enjoying the show. Crystal Trejo, Purdy or Stafford? I'd go Purdy on that one. I think I'm going to lean just slightly towards Brock Purdy over Stafford. It's very, very close, though. It really is a function of the Eagles are the second best pass defense in the NFL right now. And as much as I do like Matthew Stafford, Stafford is very consistent, getting 200 passing yards, throwing for a touchdown. I think Purdy is overall the better play. Close, but I'm going to go Brock Purdy. Sean, I have Hunt and Pacheco. Should I drop Hunt and start Pacheco? Sean, I wouldn't drop Hunt. I would try to trade him, or I would keep him on my bench just in case, just to make sure Pacheco is a full start, number one on the depth chart. But I definitely wouldn't drop him. I either hold on to him for insurance or I would try to trade him. Brent, Murray or Herbert? I'd go Herbert. I would go Herbert over Murray. Tam, Jacobs or Tracy Jr.? I'd go Tracy Jr. on that one. I'm leaning towards Tracy Jr. being the better running back play. Just barely. Close, but I like Tracy Jr. just a little bit more. Cody Meyerson, trade away Derrick Henry and Garrett Wilson for Jamar and Mixon. The answer is yes. Surprisingly, I think the answer is yes, because even though I think Derrick Henry will outscore Mixon, Jamar Chase is going to significantly outscore Garrett Wilson. So I like Mixon and Jamar Chase. Appreciate you guys being with us. If you haven't done so already, hit the follow button. Make sure you guys hit the follow button. That way you're with us every time that we're live. And a reminder, I give out picks every single day. We did really well on our NBA picks yesterday. Of the 11 picks we gave out on the show, only one of them missed. Austin Reeves had 17 points instead of 18. Other than that, we were perfect on everything else yesterday. Pretty good day in the NBA. If you want to know my NBA picks for today, DM me on Instagram, Fumble Sports. DM me on Instagram, not asking for your money, because I don't want it. Just DM me on Instagram so I can give you a link for the Sharps app. You can use it for free. It's like a giant bulletin board for sports bettors. So every time I place a bet, it automatically shows up there. But it doesn't cost anything. You don't have to pay for anything. It won't cost a dime. You can get every bet I make every single day for free. It's AJ Moore or Jennings. I probably lean just barely. The problem is it's DJ Moore. It's AJ. I got to go DJ Moore because he is the better play. He's got the better matchup. JCR, GG, Debo, or Cedric Tillman. JCR, it's Debo. Debo's the better play. Appreciate your questions. Eric Chavez, start Love or CJ Stroud. I'm going to lean just slightly towards Jordan Love, believe it or not. I'm going Jordan Love. Avery, thanks so much for subscribing, Avery. Appreciate you watching the show. Avery's question requires me to find one running back and one wide receiver as well as a flex. Avery, I'd go Stevenson. I'd go Bucky. Now I see the problem. I'd go Stevenson. I'd go Bucky. And I'd go Ladd McConkey. Stevenson, Bucky, and Ladd McConkey, Avery. Stevenson, Bucky, and Ladd McConkey. Appreciate your question. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for subscribing over on YouTube. Extended Mags, Purdy or Herbert this week. It's Herbert. Herbert for me. Temya Lima asks me to start 3. Pickens, Downs, Kupp, Reed, and Sutton. Pickens would be 1. Pickens would be 1. Downs would be 2. Downs would be 2. And I'm leaning slightly, I think, towards Jaden Reed. So Pickens, Downs, and Reed would be the 3 for me. Just beating out Sutton and Kupp. So Tem, Pickens, Downs, and Reed would be the 3. Shutterbug, Pickens, Nico, Harrison, Jefferson, pick 2. Man, great question. I would absolutely go Pickens, and I'd go Harrison. Pickens and Harrison would be the 2 for me, Shutterbug Ash. Pickens and Harrison. Bob, should I grab Shoemaker or Gray for tight end for this week? I lean towards Gray, but I am a little bit more. I think his value is not what it's going to be last week, but I lean towards Gray. Duncan, 12-14. Should I start Pacheco or pick up Abdullah? I'd start Pacheco. Brent, start 3 between Hill, Brown, Metcalf, Evans, and Neighbors. I'd go A.J. Brown. I'd go D.K. Metcalf. And I'd go Malik Neighbors, believe it or not. So Brown, Metcalf, and Neighbors. Cade Burns, Baker, or Purdy this week. It's going to be Brock Purdy. May surprise you. Baker's got a tougher matchup than I think people are aware of. Mike Evans just coming back. I'll go Brock Purdy. Edward Cameron watching over on Twitter. Garrett Wilson or Jaden Reed? Great question, but made a whole lot simpler because the New York Jets are on a bye. So you don't have to worry about the Jets this week. New York Jet fans are finally going to get a victory because they're on a bye. So Garrett Wilson is not the play because he's on a bye, Edward Cameron. Jaden Reed would be the start this week. So there you go, Edward. If you are watching on Twitter, throw your questions in the chat here for all of them. Tem, I'd go Herbert over Baker. Herbert over Baker. Dennis, I'd go Mark Andrews over Schoonmaker. Andrews over Schoonmaker. Colton, Downs and Otten for Chuba Hubbard. No, I'd rather have Downs and Otten. I'd rather have Downs and Otten, Colton. Extended Mags, choose 2 of the running backs. I'd go Walker and I'd go Montgomery. Walker and Montgomery. Cody Meyerson, trade Swift and Otten for JT. I lean yes. Cody Meyerson. It's close, but I lean yes. Luca wants me to pick 3 between Robinson, Bucky, Tracy, JSN, Zay, and Nico. Luca, I'd go Brian Robinson Jr., I'd go Bucky Irving, and I'd go Tracy Jr. So I'd go with the 3 running backs you started off with. Robinson Jr., Bucky Irving, and Tracy Jr. Those would be the 3 for me. Appreciate your questions. Hope you're loving the conversation, loving us talking some sports. No matter the topic, no matter the sports topic, throw it in the comment section. Obviously, we talk a lot of fantasy football, but if you want to talk sports betting, if you want to rant about what's going on in the sports world, more than happy to do that with each and every one of you. Cody Meyerson, I have Brock Bowers, so I don't need Otten. Okay, but Otten could still be a very good flex play for you. Just think that way. Christian, pick 2. Christian, I'd go Pacheco, and I'd go James Conner. Pacheco and James Conner would be the 2 for me. SRTZZZ, I'd go Pollard. I'd go Pollard over Warren. Pollard over Warren. JC Crocs 25. Would you trade Debo for Brian Robinson Jr.? I personally think that's actually a much better trade than most people would think. I would ask for one other throw-in piece. I'd ask for like B-Rob plus another player. But if I couldn't get it, I'd probably still pull the trigger. I value the running back a little bit more. The only concern is Brian Robinson Jr. has had trouble staying healthy. But I like that trade. Just give me a second throw-in piece, and it would be a for sure yes. Wingman, is trading D-Hop and Wilson for T too much? Terrible trade, Wingman. Don't make that trade. Don't do that trade. Don't do it. I'd rather have D-Hop and Wilson. Brent, Vikings defense or the Bucks defense? I actually think it's going to be the Bucks defense. I think it's going to be the Bucks defense just barely. It's close. I think it's going to be the Bucks defense. I think it's close, Brent, but I lean in that direction. Extended Mags, last question. Okay. 2 wide receivers. I'd go Hopkins and Johnston. Extended Mags. Justin L. Herbert. I'd go Justin Herbert. Raggedy Pancakes. I'd go Bucky Irving. I'd go Bucky Irving. It's AJ. I'd go DJ Moore. Josh. I'd go Pittman. Over Tillman. Getting more questions in. Mason. I'd go Eckler. Super Pants, I'd go Neighbors. I'd go Malik Neighbors. Y'all listen, meow. I'd go Bucky Irving just barely over Ramondre. Personally, I think I'd start Ramondre and Bucky over Tracy. I'd go CMC, I'd go Bucky, and I'd go Ramondre. By the way, I think Downs could outscore Christian McCaffrey, just a side note. But I'd go Ramondre, Bucky, and if you want to put CMC in there, that's fine. BJM675, I'd go Bucky, and I would lean JT just barely. I'd go Bucky and JT, though it's close between Eckler and JT. FGI Doug, pick 1 running back and 1 for the flex. I'd go Bucky, and I'll go Bucky and Tracy Jr. just barely ahead of DJ Moore. So Bucky and Tracy Jr., but just barely ahead of DJ Moore. David, Addison, Ridley, or Devontae Smith, pick 2. Ridley's got a tough matchup. I'd lean slightly towards Addison and Smith. Addison and Smith would be the 2 for me. Funky Town, do you think McConkey for Smith trade is one-sided? I actually think it's pretty fair. I think it's a pretty fair trade. Here's the only downside for someone trading away McConkey. He's wide receiver 1 on the Chargers. Now, that still may not mean the same value as D. Smith, but still pretty darn good. CJ Young, what's up, dog? Christian, do you think Breece Hall gets better? No. I think we've seen as good a Breece Hall over the last few weeks as we're going to see, and I don't think the Jets are going to want to run him into the ground in the final weeks of the season, knowing they probably won't make the playoffs. So I actually wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit more of Braylon Allen again, just to kind of preserve Breece Hall just a little bit. Tavara Gray, Texans or Eagles? Texans. Tavara Gray, Texans defense. C.J. Young. I'd go Montgomery and Brian Robinson Jr. Montgomery and Brian Robinson Jr. just barely ahead of Bucky. Bucky Irving would be third, but it's Montgomery and B-Rob would be the two that I'd go with. For running back and flex, Montgomery and B-Rob. Crystal Trejo, start three. Crystal, I'd go McLaurin, Hunt, and Irving. McLaurin, Hunt, and Irving. I want to check on the status of Pacheco to see if Hunt's value goes down, but right now it's McLaurin, Hunt, and Irving would be the three. Todd Davis, start one at running back. Rashad White. Todd Davis, Rashad White would be the play for me. Devin, pick three between CeeDee Lamb, J.J. Evans, and Hill. I'm going to sit Mike Evans. Devin, I'm going to sit Mike Evans just because he's coming back from injury. It's not a great matchup. I'd rather play the other three just barely. I think I'd rather play Evans over CeeDee Lamb. Close. Not great matchups. Funny enough, for four stud wide receivers, they don't have great matchups this week. C.J. Young, I'd go Love and Russ. Love and Russ, I think, would be the two. Love and Russ would be the two for me. Though Love's had an interception problem over the last few weeks, which is somewhat concerning for me. I need Jordan Love to go back to throwing over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Stop throwing those interceptions. Raggedy Pancakes, I'd go Bucky Irving. Raggedy Pancakes, I'd go Bucky Irving. David, between Cam Akers and Justice Hill, I'd go Cam Akers. David, I'd go Cam Akers, I think. Steve, start Njoku or Jonnu Smith. I'm going to say Jonnu Smith. Steve, I'll say Jonnu Smith. Ali, start Debo Reed or JSN. I'd start Jaden Reed. Ali, I'm going to go Jaden Reed on that one, just barely ahead of Debo. Tyler, Goff for Tua? No, I'd rather own Jared Goff rest of season. Brent, Bucks or Commanders defense? Commanders. If you're going up against the Dallas Cowboys, I want a piece of it. I've taken Commanders defense. Jam plays Bucks or Dolphins defense this week. I'm going to lean slightly towards the Bucks. I actually think more highly of Drake May and the Patriots offense than I think I do of Tony the Italian over there at MetLife Stadium. So I'm going to lean towards the Bucks defense, Jam plays. I'll go Bucks defense. A lot of that has to do with I actually think Ramondre could have a good run game against the Dolphins. McKay, Hunt, and Dell for Ridley. Wouldn't do it. No, don't like it. Jacob, Nix or Mayfield. I'm going to lean slightly towards Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix is a slightly better play, though it's close. Aiden first. Debo, Downs, Jamo, start one. It'd be Jamison Williams. Aiden first. Jamison Williams would be the one for me. C.J. Young did a blockbuster before the deadline. I'm happy with it. I gave Debo, Riker, thanks so much. I gave Debo and Waddle for Montgomery and BTJ. Getting Montgomery made that trade worth it. Montgomery at this point, it's amazing how Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are both RB1s. Just amazing. Riker, thanks so much for the Galaxy. Appreciate you. Hope you're having a great Wednesday night. Nick, please help trade away Jamar for CMC. I wouldn't. I have Collins, Reed, and then JK, and I understand. I just don't know if I like CMC enough to give away Jamar Chase. To be honest, you're losing some value there. I know this sounds crazy, but because of the brand value of CMC, you're actually trading for the brand value, but you're not getting as much real world value. Jamar Chase, you're getting both, because he's putting up massive numbers. If you're going to trade Jamar Chase, I'd almost rather have a Joe Mixon, a David Montgomery, plus a second player, because people will go, oh, Joe Mixon plus someone else. But frankly, I think Jamar Chase for CMC might be a bit of an L. I get it because you need a running back, but I'm not as crazy about it as I should be. And yes, part of it is, one, the offense is kind of banged up for the 49ers, and two, Christian McCaffrey has not come back and looked like gangbusters amazing. Rick, Evans, Ladd, JSN, Jennings, pick three, please. Rick, I would sit Mike Evans. Rick, I'm going to sit Mike Evans. I mentioned it a moment ago. Giants' pass defense is better than people think. He's coming back from the injury. I love Ladd McConkey this week. Really like JSN. And I like Jennings, I think, more than Mike Evans. Close, but I'm going to sit Mike Evans. Extended mags. Never mind this last question. It's okay, extended mags. Start one for the flex. Williams, Brown, Lamb, or Tillman. Yikes. I'm going to go Kyren Williams just barely. Kyren Williams, banking on the fact he finally gets back in the end zone. I know he hasn't found it in the last few weeks. It's burned me in some of my parlays. But that said, he is due for a touchdown. I think he ultimately gets there. Little Dr. County, pick 2. Little Dr. County, I'd go Reed and Downs. Reed and Downs would be the 2 for me. Hope you guys are enjoying the content and enjoying the show. Make sure you hit the follow button. Make sure you're a member of this community. No matter the platform you're watching on, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, Kick, Twitter X. Make sure you follow us. Make sure you're a member of this team. Benicio, I'd go... Is that J.K. Dobbins or Njoku? I'd go Njoku. Hoeing Fitness. Traded Dobbins and Dowdle for Kyren. Good trade. I'm good with it. Yep. FGI Doug. Pick 2. I'd go J-Mo and DJ Moore. FGI Doug. I think J-Mo and DJ Moore have better matchups, believe it or not. Christian Legion Blitz. Should I trade Garrett Wilson for Pickens or Puka Nacua? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, I do that. John, great to see you over on YouTube. John's one of our favorites. Haven't seen him in a minute. John, who would you trade to get Tracy out of Cook, JT, or Stevenson? I personally would rather own Cook, JT, and Stevenson, John. So I wouldn't move. If the question is who of those players would I trade to get Tracy, I'd rather own those 3. Which one of those 3 could I get if I traded Tracy? Probably Stevenson. Marr was offered Knicks for Love. Should I do it? I'd rather own Jordan Love. Rest of season, I'd rather own Jordan Love. I know he struggled, but again, I don't want to buy the stock at its peak value. I want to buy it when it's low value and has the ability to rise. Similar story here. I don't think Bo Nix can sustain this level of performance. I think Jordan Love's been underperforming of late. I think Jordan Love's going to play better. I think Bo Nix is going to play worse. The RJ, should I send Smith and Eckler to get A.J. Brown? Yes. Yes, I would do that deal. Pellins FSF, Komet or Likely this week? Great question. I lean towards Komet. I lean Komet barely. Y'all listen, meow. Pick 2. Y'all listen, meow. I'd go Neighbors and Downs. Neighbors and Downs would be the 2. Yo, some people loving the Mets. Oh, Mets prods. What's good, bud? Hope you're having a great day. Throw your questions in the comment section. Richard Chavez, really tough. I'm going to lean Kareem Hunt. I understand if Pacheco's back, it may eat into his value, but for the moment, I lean Kareem Hunt. Should I start Akers, Madison, or Roschon Johnson? Yikes. Probably Madison. Probably Madison is the best play of that group, Mets. John, hurts me by week 4 bye week in the playoffs. Yeah, I totally understand that. John, your playoffs start this week, man. Your playoffs start early, dog. They start early. Extended mags, traded Kincaid for Taysom Hill trade Kincaid for Taysom Hill or Freiermuth. If you're going to do it, it would be for Taysom Hill. Would I do it? No. But if you're going to do it for Taysom Hill. The RJ, do you need some shares on TikTok? Always, dog. Always. Newcomb fitted. Flex start. I would, out of that group, start Waddle. Newcomb fitted. I'd start Waddle just barely over Worthy. Close, though. Jose, start 1. Jose, I'd start Downs. Manuel, is Pacheco playing? I'm hearing good things, but I haven't heard clear-cut yes yet. Mail Kassad, Hunt or Jennings? I'd go Kareem Hunt. By the way, that's even if Pacheco plays, I'd probably still put Kareem Hunt in there. There's so much value against that Panthers run defense. Mrs. Lady, Dobbins, Otten, Reed at the flex. Tight end is McBride. I probably lean slightly towards Jaden Reed. Mrs. Lady, I'd go Jaden Reed on that. Brandon edits. Montgomery for Mike Evans. No, I'd rather own Montgomery. NRC, should I give Evan Swift and Justin Herbert for Debo, Kamara, and Adunze? I don't need Herbert. The answer is yes. The answer is NRC, I would do that trade. Yes, I would. Hope you're doing well. Newcomb, DM me on Instagram, Fumble Sports. We're going to give away a couple of our NBA picks for tonight. But if you want all of them, DM me on Instagram, Fumble Sports. DM me on Instagram to get every pick that I make every single day. A couple of the picks that I like for tonight, though. Cavaliers on the money line. I think the Cavaliers do bounce back against the Pelicans. But I could see the Pelicans covering like a plus 13.5. I love the under in that game. Pelicans and Cavaliers, I love the under. I'm very high on that. I like the Rockets on the money line. I could see Rockets potentially covering minus 3.5. I think that's actually a decent spot for that as well. I like the 76ers at minus 2.5. 76ers to cover, like that play. And ultimately, I think the Warriors do win tonight as well. So those are a few of my favorite plays. I also have some player prop bets that I put out earlier in the day. So make sure you guys DM me on Instagram, Fumble Sports. DM me on Instagram to get every bet that I make every single day. In fact, I'm going to give you guys one more player prop bet. I'm going to give out a player prop bet right now. This is probably my favorite player prop bet of the night. I like Jalen Brunson at 25 plus points. Jalen Brunson at 25 plus points. I would go even higher. I could see him going over 27.5 points. So I like Jalen Brunson a lot tonight. I think he's going to have a big scoring game against the Suns. So Jalen Brunson, 25 plus points or higher. I would go as high as probably 28. I could see him getting 30, but I probably wouldn't bet on it. So I give out my picks for free every single day because you guys know I don't think you guys should have to pay for picks. I think it's ridiculous there are people on social media who charge for their picks. I don't do that. I give them away for free every day. You can follow them. You can fade them. That's entirely up to you. But if you want every bet that I make every day for free, just DM me on Instagram. That's how it works, guys. Appreciate you guys working with us, being a part of our community. Jack Evans or Scary Terry rest of season. I'm going to go Mike Evans, believe it or not. I'll go Mike Evans just barely. Shane, trade Terry McLaurin for Brock Bowers. Interesting idea. I probably wouldn't do it, but an interesting idea. You got to have some stones to pull it off. Tony Delgado is pretty good to go this week. There's something about his shoulder. I would have to look into it, Tony. Little bit concerned just hearing what you're saying, but I got to look into it. Newcomb, I'd go Love over Mayfield. Love over Mayfield. The RJ, is Eckler wide receiver 1 for the Commanders? I don't think so. I think what you're seeing is Eckler is used in the passing game. Robinson's used in more traditional rundowns. I'd still rather own the traditional rundown running back. Benicio, I'd go Quentin Johnston. Benicio, Quentin Johnston. Extended mags. So I got to trade for my injured Olave for Taysom Hill. Do it. I'd rather own Taysom Hill. Or is that Tyreek Hill? Whichever Hill it is, I'd do it. Brandon, trade Bijan for CD and Malik Neighbors? No, Brandon, do not do that deal. IDK, I traded Hunt away. I don't know why I did that. It was for DJ Moore. Sorry, IDK, should have talked to us first. Pick one for the flex. Jonnu, Hunter Henry, Christian Watson, Rome Odunze, or Michael Pittman Jr. I'd go Michael Pittman Jr. Sierran, I'd go Michael Pittman Jr. Extended mags, I like it for Hill. Yep. Tony M. Who to start at the flex? CMC, Pollard, Eckler, Metcalf, Tank Dell, Quentin Johnston, Wandale, Waddle. Tony M. I'd go Quentin Johnston, I think. I'd go Quentin Johnston. Probably just barely. Tony M. I'd go Metcalf. I'd go Metcalf and then I'd go Quentin Johnston, I think. Metcalf and Quentin Johnston. Hope you guys are enjoying the content and enjoying the show. Make sure you hit that follow button. Trade Pickens for Garrett Wilson? Nope, wouldn't do it. Raf Goss, Jerry Jeudy or Adunze? I'd go Adunze at the flex. Pedro Cerna, you think Kareem Hunt a go this week? Yes, I do. Barack, start 2. Barack, I would start McLaurin and I would start Jameson Williams. McLaurin and Jameson Williams. Okay, DYL, I would start Hill and Devontae Smith. DYL, Hill and Devontae Smith. Jason Patrick Sr., I would go with, good question. I probably lean towards Njoku. I'm going to lean Njoku just barely ahead of Hawkinson. Garrett Marshall, trade Lamar Jackson and Garrett Wilson for Nico Collins. Don't love it. You're giving up more value than you're getting back. I get it, but I don't love it. Okay, everybody. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. I am going to sign off because I'm going to go run and get some dinner, but I will be live on later tonight. So make sure you subscribe on TikTok. Make sure you hit the follow button because I will do a second show later tonight. Make sure you join us for that. Hope you guys love the content and the conversation. And a reminder, if you want my favorite bets or every bet that I make every single day, DM me on Instagram. But Fumble Sports, DM me on Instagram to get every bet that I make every single day. I give my picks away for free. You guys know how I work. So if you want every bet that I make every day, DM me on Instagram. I'll catch you guys later tonight for our subscriber-only show. Or maybe it'll be for everybody. Probably around 10:15, I'll be live again. Hope you guys have a great evening. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll catch you guys later. Have a great night, everybody.